Cybersecurity has evolved into an automated, algorithmic war measured in milliseconds. The era of traditional risk management has ended, replaced by a theater of deterministic, high-speed combat. For decades, defensive strategy relied on the 80-20 probability model. If a firewall blocked 80% of common threats, human analysts had a golden reaction time to identify and neutralize the remaining 20% of manual intrusions. The democratization of dual-use large language models has eliminated that window. Because these models are open source and neutral, the same systems designed to secure code are now fine-tuned by attackers to automate the discovery of zero-day vulnerabilities, collapsing the margin of error to zero. To understand the need for automation, compare legacy response speeds against a 2026 autonomous agent. In 2022, human analysts identifying a breach and isolating a server averaged 4 hours. Today, modern agents achieve full breaches in 3 seconds. Survival requires sub-4 millisecond response, bypassing human perception. When attacks arrive at microsecond scales, relying on human intervention is an organizational death sentence. The defense must move as fast as the code. Modern attackers act as software project managers rather than manual coders. They deploy autonomous offensive agents through malware-as-a-service platforms, directing a fleet of self-sufficient programs to find and exploit network weaknesses. The most difficult threat is the polymorphic attack. Like a biological virus, this malware autonomously alters its own structure once it enters a host system. An internal AI engine mutates the binary signature every 3 seconds. This constant transformation ensures that standard antiviruses, which look for static database matches, never see the same file twice. This automation has also perfected social engineering. Generative AI has replaced the suspicious, poorly written emails of the past with sophisticated, high-conversion psychological profiles. Offensive agents scrape social profiles and leaked email archives to mirror an executive's specific tone, vocabulary, and professional history. These emails are indistinguishable from legitimate internal communications. The effectiveness of this personalization is visible in the data. Targeted spear phishing against senior executives now has a 92% success rate, making every breach attempt highly lethal. By eliminating human error on the offensive front, AI has made attacks invisible to traditional scans and nearly impossible for untrained users to detect. The challenge for engineers is stopping an invisible threat that can seize root access in 3 seconds. Most organizations rely on Cloud CM, sending network logs to distant data centers. When malware enters, a distress signal travels to the cloud. But that round-trip communication is too late. The local server is encrypted before the cloud can even respond. Network latency is a physical limitation of geography and the speed of light through glass fibers. No amount of software optimization can override these mechanics. This reality makes periodic penetration testing and annual compliance audits mathematically useless. You cannot defend against a threat that scans for 0 days every second using a report that is 6 months old. To fight a millisecond threat, the defense must physically reside where the attack occurs. The architecture must move to the edge. Edge computing is the foundational requirement for modern defense. By processing data locally, we remove the delay of the cloud entirely. This is a modern defensive node. The foundation is a hardware edge NPU cluster running AI models on site. Above this hardware, machine learning software layers lock in, specifically log NLP and graph anomaly detection. Graph anomaly detection maps relationships between network IP addresses, finding hidden patterns. Simultaneously, it establishes a stable behavioral baseline, learning exactly what normal looks like for every connected device. Continuous asset monitoring replaces static virus databases. Instead of looking for known signatures, the system flags any activity that deviates from the learned baseline. It maps typical login hours, departmental data volumes, and standard file access patterns. By hosting intelligence at the edge, the local network can think and act independently, neutralizing threats before they can communicate with their command servers. Consider an attack launched during off hours when human security teams are unavailable. The moment malware attempts an unauthorized data transfer, the behavioral baseline spikes. The defense system detects the deviation and autonomously slams down a quarantine on the affected node. There is no human intervention and no delay. In under 4 milliseconds, the machine isolates the user, revokes all encryption keys, and severs the connection to the core database. To prevent the polymorphic malware from mutating its way out, the system autonomously rewrites firewall rules every 500 milliseconds, boxing the threat into a digital dead zone. Delegating this tactical response to automation is the only physical way to beat a 3-second breach window. Despite the speed, granting an algorithm total autonomy over business infrastructure creates significant operational risks. AI lacks human context. It may identify a false positive, misinterpreting a legitimate high-stakes human crisis as a cyber attack. If a defensive agent misinterprets a doctor's emergency access and shuts down a hospital network, the result is a catastrophe. Life-saving equipment goes dark. Machines do not understand human stakes. Unchecked autonomy can become as damaging as the attacks it was designed to prevent. There is also an economic barrier. Setting up an autonomous defense center costs an average of $2.5 million a year. This creates a dangerous gap where only the largest corporations can afford a millisecond defense. This economic divide leaves global supply chains vulnerable as hackers target the smaller, unprotected contractors that lack the budget for edge AI systems. Organizations can neither survive without the speed of AI nor accept the risks of its total autonomy. The resolution is the Centaur model, a strategy of human-machine teaming that leverages the strengths of both. In this model, the machine handles detection and initial containment, acting within 4 milliseconds to stop a breach. In Stage 2, generative AI takes raw network logs and writes a natural language incident report for the human team. This allows a human analyst to understand exactly why the machine acted, bridging the gap between microsecond telemetry and business reality. Finally, the human analyst makes the strategic decision to maintain or override the quarantine, keeping overall policy control. The modern engineer has become a macro strategist. They no longer hunt through logs manually. They manage a fleet of intelligent virtual troops. AI provides the speed to fight at the threshold of physics, but the most powerful defenses still originate from human intent. AI simply scales that intent to the speed of light.